Welcome to Flash Tutorial, Request 50, Munch Game, Part 3. It's a follow-up to Tutorial 49, which was Part 2, and that's what I have opened on my computer. We have it now so the ball can move, the player can move using the arrow keys. We have it so that we can't go through any walls. Now we got to make the Munch men and write the code for them. Make sure all your layers are locked. Select that fill layer, insert a layer, and call it Munch 1, M-U-N-1. Select that first frame. Pick black for my stroke and any color you wish for the fill, as long as it's not one of these colors. Oval tool, hold your shift down, make an oval, highlight it, open the properties panel, make sure that the stroke is on 1, if not redo it, and we want to make sure this chain link is locked, and we're making it 15 pixels, and when I press enter both horizontal and vertical will change. Highlight it, modify it, convert it to a symbol. It's going to be called Munch, M-U-N_MC. Copy that. Okay, open the properties panel, paste it in, and call it MUN1. It's a movie clip now. I'm on 50 size of my stage, and drag this right here into that corner and double click on it. Now we're inside the Munch movie clip. I want to make my size just a little bit bigger here, and using my arrow keys I want to make sure it's basically on the center of my path, my light purple here. Click off to the side, select the center right there, modify, convert to a symbol, call this center, Munch center, M-U-N-C-E-N, as in the center of the Munch, _MC. Okay, you just made the center a movie clip. Come down, get the crosshairs, right click, cut. So I remove the center of that, that's that movie clip. Lock this layer, call it ring, as in the outside, R-I-N-G. Insert a layer, call it center, C-E-N-T. Select frame 1, come down here, right click, paste in place. Now we have the center of that movie clip, a movie clip. Go up 15 frames, insert a keyframe. Around 10, insert a keyframe. Around 5-ish, insert a keyframe. On this one it's green. Go to number 5. Open the properties panel. I have selected again. You want to see these color effects. We want to go here to tint and play around with these and get a color. Doesn't matter what you set at. There's my brown. I'm happy with that. Go here, click on it, open the tint up again, change it this time. Just play around with them until you get a color you want. There, that's ugly, nice ugly color, good. And let's do one more. It always comes to the last setting. And let's make this one another ugly greenish color. No. I don't know if I'd see that. There we go. I want to see what I got here. No, oh, another color here. I'm not sure what I want. Okay, any 3 colors you want. On this bottom layer, insert a keyframe, So now if I hit my enter sign, see what's happening to my munch. It changes colors. Go back to scene 1. Make the stage 50%. And there's my munch 1. Go up to about, try to keep this simple, up to about 250. Start at the ball layer, go right down, select all the layers, insert keyframe. Not the actions layer, but all the rest of the layers. Go back to frame 50. Make sure the only layer that's unlocked is the munch layer for now. Go to frame 50 on the munch one, insert a keyframe, and using your arrow keys, hold the shift down and move that munch. I'm moving them to about here. Make a classic tween. Right click, classic tween. Go up to 100. Now you can do these in any size increments you want. Insert a keyframe, holding my shift down. I'm going to bring them down with my down arrow until I get it close, then I go take the shift off. Classic tween. Then I'm going to go from here where it will be, going back to here, 150 each, insert a keyframe. Now I'm going to have him go with my, holding my shift down because he moves quicker. I'm going to have him go to here. Insert, create classic tween. And let's go to 200. Insert a keyframe. Have him come back to where he just was. Interesting. Create classic tween. And I got 50 more to do. Yeah. So I want to break that in 2 parts because I want to get him, I want him to end up back where he started. He started here. So I'm going to keep this one short. Insert keyframe. Use my arrow key with the shift down. Get him back up here. Create classic tween. And he's back here. Create classic tween. So let's just test that and see what he's doing. It's doing. Now he's moving. Blinking, moving, blinking, moving. And you can use any time frames you want for this. Okay, that's good. Let's do a munch 2. So lock that layer, select layer, munch 2, MUN 2. Go back here to frame 1. Make sure that's the only layer that's unlocked. Bring munch in. Let's start him around here. Now if I highlight it a little bit bigger, yeah, it's pretty close where I want. I want to click on it once, open the properties panel, make sure I have a instance name, MUN2 underscore MC. Down here for color effects, tint, I'm going to give him a different color to start with here. There his color is going to be there to start with. So he's slightly different than this one. And basically the same thing. Insert a keyframe. Move it somewhere with your arrow keys. I'll just do this one quickly, some of it with you. Create classic tween. It's here. Now I'm going to have it go up a little bit. So I'm going to go up to here. Try not to have them in line with the other ones so that it's sort of at random to some degree. Insert keyframe. Bring them up. Create classic tween. I'm going to stop now and finish off this one, and I'm going to make a munch 3, and then I'll come back. I have my 3 munches done, 1, 2, and 3. You'll probably want like 10 of these going on at random, and I'll just show you what I have going on. And I think it's better if you put a bright color in them, because there's one there that's pretty faded. Even though it's changed in colors, I didn't pick good colors. And again, you can change the speeds. One stops over here, which is always a good thing to do. See how that stops for a while? And you just, to do that, you just put a spot in here where you don't put a tween, and you just, it's sitting here at this time, and this here it's the same spot, this one right here. See? Okay, so now we need action script to say what happens when the player, the ball, hits a munch. Go back to frame 1 of the actions layer, open the actions panel, right down the bottom, between these two curly brackets, type, 2 forward slashes, and I'm calling this hit munch. It's an if statement. You could actually just copy this if you want and paste it, and it's going to be, this is ball part, this hit objects the part, all the same, and it's going to be munch1 underscore MC, capital M, that's that first munch, and here it's going to be ball underscore MC period X equals 38, ball underscore period Y equals 38, each have a semicolon after the end of them, and my closed curly bracket. And what this 38 is, go back to the main timeline, unlock the ball layer, select frame 1, come down here, highlight the ball, open the properties panel up, and that's the X and Y axes of the ball. Now yours might be different. If they are, and they probably are, go back and change them to whatever this is. So now let's test that. I have no errors, and I'm going to see if I can get that to hit this. It's this. It's coming back now to me, and it's coming up. It's going to hit me, and the ball jumped back to here because it got hit. Pretty basic. Let's do the same thing for munch 2. So copy these, right click, copy, couple enters, paste it in. This is going to be munch number 2. Let's test this one out. And again, every time you do a hit test on something, test it out. And I believe it's that one right there. Let's move it off there for a minute. There we go. Let's move it off. Wait for the ball to come along and hit it. There. It hit it and put it back in there. So that one works. Couple enters, paste it in, and let's do munch ball 3. Test movie test. Oh, what's this saying? I didn't give it an instance name. Undefined property. So I know when I select this layer, munch ball 3, frame 1, and check, I didn't give it an instance name. So it's going to be mun3 underscore MC. I'm going to copy that for a minute because I think every time I made a change I have to give it an instance name. Yeah, paste an instance name. I'll do that and then I'll get back to you. Actually, I'm going to stay with you just to show you what I did wrong. When I didn't give it an instance name, so that means every time I changed it, it had no instance name. Every time I put in a keyframe. So it's okay, that keyframe, if I go up to here on this keyframe, open the properties panel, highlight it, I got to give it an instance name. Paste it in, go up to the next keyframe, right here, make sure it's highlighted, paste it in, paint it here, I can see it's highlighted. So that's the lesson to be learned before you make keyframes with a movie clip. Give it an instance name. Otherwise you have to go back to all these keyframes. And sometimes it's easier to do the whole line over. So only a few more, I think. Last one. Paste. Now, I should have no errors. No errors. And I got to take it off there for it to work, so I'm taking it off. Now the problem is I got to, there. I'm not sure. It's this one here. To show you an easy way to test this out. This is number 3. If I go up here, see that's number 3. I'm going to unlock my ball for a minute. Go back to frame 1 of the ball. And click on the ball and drag it right down here so that the ball is going to hit this real quick. Control, test, movie, test. There. The ball hit it and jumped up there where it's supposed to be. And just Control Z puts the ball back where it was. So I'm happy with that. Now all we got to do is decide what's going to happen when the game's over if you win the game. So make sure all the layers are locked. Select the ball layer. Insert a layer called Win. W-I-N. Select frame 1. Pick up your text tool. Text tool fill is this color here. I'm going to make it black. Open up the properties panel. I have static text selected up to 70 some points. Make a text box. Go over here and write "You win." We'll straighten that out after. Come back here where it says embed. Click that. Uppercase, lowercase, numerals, and punctuation. Over here this says OK. You can't see it. Close my properties panel. And pull this "You win." Drag it onto the stage here. While it's highlighted, modify, convert it to a symbol. Make sure movie clip is selected. WIN_MC. Copy. Paste it in for an instance name. Okay, so now go all the way up to the end here and click and insert a keyframe, and click here and all in one motion go right back to the beginning. Don't change layers. Clear these frames, lock that layer, insert a layer, call it frame, F-R-M-L-A-B as in frame labels. Come way up to the end. Convert this to a keyframe. Convert this to a keyframe. Make sure that frame is selected. That's the one that has this win on it. Open the properties panel. In here write win, W-I-N. We're just going to give this frame a name. A little flag comes in here to tell you if you have that. Let's go back to Action Panel. At the very end, copy this. I'm copying this last hit. Put a paste in here. And we're going to have a movie clip called "You Win." You win _MC. We're then going to say GOTO, go to, AND, and stop, STOP, open bracket, quotation, WIN, capital W, close quotation, close bracket, semicolon. So we're going to make another target called "You win." When the ball hits that, it'll send us to that frame that we just made called win, and the game will be over. So now we just got to make this target called you win. So on this win line, we may as well use that win line. Unlock that layer, make sure all the other layers are locked. Select frame 1. Select your oval tool. I'll keep black for my stroke, and I'm going to get a crazy color for my fill. Make a little target, highlight it, make sure it's around 15 pixels. Make sure that's locked. While it's highlighted, modify, convert it to a symbol, and I think we called it UWin, Y-O-U, capital W-I-N underscore MC. Copy that name, paste it in the properties panel, and now all we got to do is put it down here so that if the player reaches that, it's going to jump into that frame and say you win. So now to make this easy, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to unlock the ball layer, select frame 1, take the ball and put it right about here somewhere, and test it. Test a movie, hopefully no errors. And when the ball is, which is down here, when I move it, it jumps to the frame saying you win. Now we're getting all kinds of errors about property or methods, null objects reference. See that? Cannot access property or methods. And what that means is, up on this frame here, this last frame, it's looking for all these movie clips. So the easiest thing to do is to click on this. There's actually two things. We can click on this, all these, and drag them over, or we can click here, drag down, and say insert keyframes. That will get rid of it. Now if you don't mind seeing all this, then you just leave it. So let's test it again. Test movie test. So that when I move my man and hit that, it says you win. If you're happy with that, okay. Now this fault that we're having here is very similar to the one we just had, very similar. If I make my stage, look down in this corner, and I'm on the last frame. If I click on it in the last frame, I don't see that little target we just made. It's here, but it's not here. And that's because when we made that target, we put it on frame 1 before we made this a keyframe. So what we have to do is we have to highlight this, unlock the win layer, select a frame, get that highlighted, see that? Get the crosshairs, right click, copy that, select this last frame, come down here, paste it in place, and just make sure it has an instance name. So now that's rectified. So let's test it again. No errors, and when I move him over and he hits it, it says you win. Now if you're happy with that, I say you can leave that. Some things you can do. You may want to get rid of the ball, put the ball back where it was. So let's go back to the actions layer. Down at the bottom here, copy these two lines and paste them in here. So that would put the ball back up in the corner instead of being down here. But you also might want to do this. I'm going to start off by locking the layers. Whatever you don't want to see. So let's say you don't mind seeing the grid, you don't mind seeing the paths and all that, but you don't want to see the munchies. So select those 3 munchies. Click here and draw right down those 3 frames so you see those 3 munchies are highlighted. Hold your shift down and with your arrow key, tab over and completely take them off the stage. All the code has been satisfied, and now when you win, you won't see those. So let's do this once more. I have no errors. When I hit it, my ball jumps back up there, and I don't see those munchies. If you don't want to see the grid, do the same thing with the grid. Now the last thing we got to do is go back to frame 1, unlock the balls layer, select frame 1, and we have our ball way down here. We want it up here, so let's just open the properties panel while it's selected and give it the X and Y coordinates of 38. Yours are different, remember whatever they were, and then hit enter. I think that is it. I hope you learned something from these tutorials, and I hope you use what you learn.